yes, we talk about being a believer. We here for that, and we're gonna integrate that if that's what you want to do. But let's do all of the things. Let's not just do half of the things, because you're here using your good insurance and spending your good money, like, or your job if they pay it for it, whatever it is. So let's do the work and let's put the two together and see what happens. And usually that's all it takes.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Missing Piece podcast. I really appreciate you guys for watching all the videos and tuning in to the recent episodes. We are on a roll, honestly, and it's been very enjoyable. God is just doing something so mighty. I'm so excited because today we have a special guest, Katrina Bell.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Look, we both smiling so hard. Y'all, this podcast, like I said in recent episodes, it's just been doing wonders. I've just been sharing my story, and then randomly a lot of people have felt led to share theirs. So enough with all the sharing and talking about their stories, not necessarily enough. I actually wanted to segue into a different flow. Katrina is actually LPC, and she's going to kind of tell us about what that is, what all of that means. So Katrina, tell us who are you? What does LPC mean? And,
Okay, so I'm a licensed professional counselor. That's what LPC means.
Okay.
Who am I?
Right. Who are you?
So I'm Katrina. I'm a Charleston native by way of Red Top. Shout out to my peeps in the country. I am a healer. Let's just go ahead and put that out there like that. I think I'm walking into that now. Just healer as in mentally, healing people mentally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's been a hard ministry to accept.
Yeah.
But it is who I am. I am a mom of a 9-year-old, my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I am a wife, a sister, all those things. Just a cool person. I love to cook. I love to eat.
Look, both. Same.
I like music. I like to dance. I like to read. I got a lot going on, but I'm just I feel like just a good, cool, real person.
Real person.
Yeah.
Cool thing is, sidebar, Katrina tell you a little bit about her, but let me tell you how I met her. So we were in this, I don't know if it's like a girls group or social club kind of, but it's called Black Girls Social Club, and they had a chapter in Charleston, and we both were in the chapter and mix and mingle, hung out, went to dinner, had a good time. And then we both kind of like left the chapter, and, just continued on with life. But as I was doing this podcast, as people were asking me questions about, how do I deal with this? And what do you feel about this? And can I be a guest on your podcast? I'm like, I need a therapist. I need a therapist to help therapy to people. Like, who can I connect to? So here I am Googling, not even thinking about you. And then I typed in grief counselor or therapist or somebody in Charleston I can connect with. And your name popped up on on Facebook.
Okay.
And I was like, Katrina, I keep looking at the name, Katrina Bell. I'm like, I know her. Who is she? And then messaged her. We clicked and we realized we knew each other. Yeah. So look, God does all things well.
Yes.
Honestly. So I love that. So tell us, what got you into being a licensed professional counselor?
The quick and dirty. So, in undergrad, I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to help people. Like I knew, again, back to the healer thing. I thought I wanted to be a nurse. Nah, I ain't with the sciences. So that went out of the window. I became a sociology and health major at the College of Charleston.
Okay.
And graduated and was kind of like, well, what am I going to do next? I have been working at an after-school program on James Island with children who have like emotional disabilities. And I feel like I was really good at that. I knew I did not want to be a teacher. Like that was out. My mom is a retired teacher. I don't want to teach.
Yeah.
I don't even really know if I like little kids like that. Like I don't want to teach.
That's a real thing.
No, for real, because it's not for everybody.
Only if you can.
So I started kind of weighing my options, and I was like, I know I need to go back to school. So went back, got my master's in counseling, and we're here.
Okay.
Like we're here. I went and I was working in a school. God, talk about a story. I just said I don't want to be a teacher. My first job was in the school district. Then My second job was a school district.
Okay.
This can't be good.
Look.
Like, am I supposed to be
God,
doing
what you
this?
doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
What's going on?
With these elementary school kids, like, I can't take it. Then I got a job working at one of the discipline schools in Charleston County in middle school. That was my jam.
Okay.
And then it was kind of like, okay, well, you know, if you're going to move up in this field, if this is what you're going to do, you need to think about licensure. Burnout, that wasn't a space for me to do that in. Got my next job. Licensure happened.
Okay.
Did that for 7 years, working in high schools in the school district, and then just decided I was tired because it's a lot when you're giving to children because you have to deal with kids and their families.
Right.
So then I took a little bit of a break, and then I went into independent contracting, and it's been no turning back. COVID told me that I could do this myself.
Look, I love that.
And I've been on my own since 2022.
That is so beautiful and so brave of you, right? Because like COVID could make or break a lot of people.
For real.
And to say that you seem to be doing very well from what I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, okay. But I love that. I mean, stepping out on faith and, you know, being different and brave.
For sure.
And speaking about COVID, I feel like that was a very traumatic experience that we were forced to kind of deal with as humanity. So how does well, we know trauma, but how does trauma period affects the brain of people? But how do you think COVID has affected us as like people?
So we are still healing from COVID. We are in the midst of that right now.
Yeah.
It has made people, so, you know, just a trauma it's an event that really kind of sticks and stays and changes your life forever.
Right, yeah.
COVID changed our lives
It
forever.
really did, yeah.
And what happens with trauma is the memories, they kind of just stay stuck. You know, you replay them. Anytime you get triggered, you go back.
Right.
You know, like, so it really makes your brain almost kind of get stuck. So think about like not a record player, but a CD player that, you know, like when the CD, the good part, and it starts skipping. And instead of like skipping forward, it skips like back.
Right, yeah.
So that's if I could paint a picture of what
that's
trauma
a good
does
visual
to the brain, that's what it does.
Wow, yeah. And sometimes it don't even be back. It just be in the same thing, like hey,
Loop.
Yep.
It's like
take the CD out, buy a new one,
trying to wipe it off. Yeah.
So it's just, I mean, it's been a lot. I mean, I definitely have been affected from COVID, even though I worked outside of that, but I personally had COVID twice, you know, with that, trying to heal your body and dealing with the effects of like sickness that you have to deal with too. It just affects people so much. So what really are, like, as you were coming into LPC, leaping out during that time, like, was it hard for you to grasp all of that? 'Cause I can imagine there was an influx of people.
Oh, yeah.
Or like, what did that look like for you in your world?
I don't know. I feel like I just went into grind mode.
Okay.
Because I felt like the world needs us.
Right.
I think a lot of counselors weren't recognized as like frontline people because we weren't in a hospital. But like you said, for people who may have had COVID and like I have clients who had COVID and they have like these physical issues that are still with them, and that affects you mentally sometimes too. So like we got to now deal with that.
Right.
So really, we were providers during that time. Our numbers shot up.
Wow.
Like, and this is not bragging or boasting, but like I never was like
without
I'm looking for clients.
Look, and I love God, because one thing God gonna do is make favor in the famine.
Take care of his children.
Look, he does, because at a time like that, you would think that that's a famine. That's a hard time.
No, ma'am.
But for
overflow,
that's a blessing. You know, and I mean, even with my mom when she had COVID, I realized like you know, she's a little bit older. She's like mid 50s, but she. Like her brain would be delayed with conversation. And I would get so frustrated with her. I'm like, why you don't remember what I'm telling you to do? Ask. And she would be like, stop yelling at me. I'm like, I'm not yelling, but how can you not remember what I just told you? And come to find out, she had like a delayed memory
brain
thing.
fog type thing. I hear people talk about that.
I'm like, what in the world? So we basically just concluded it. We self-diagnose ourselves, as we always do.
As we always do.
So we self-diagnosed ourselves and was just like, look, we would call it brain fog because that's what we have. So
that's what it is, I think.
Yeah. So as far as like with women, men being in therapy, because I will be honest, Be honest.
Be honest.
There's a lot of us women that actively grab to healing or actively want to be better, actively want to change and want to heal. And then we don't necessarily see a lot of men doing that. And maybe they are doing that. It's just probably privately.
Right. They won't. Yeah, they don't speak about it, I would say.
Yeah, probably. So as far as that, do you see more women than men, and is there a reason behind that, or is it not true what I'm thinking?
Yeah, so definitely more women than men. And this is funny because I get this question all the time.
Okay.
So I already have math in my head. So right now I have like about 120 something clients who are like active, whether they're every week, other week, but active within the last 3 months.
Right.
I have about 25 males. Everybody else is females.
But still, I wouldn't even think 25 men would. I mean, I don't know why I thought it was a lower percent.
But 25, and this is the caveat, that includes people I'm seeing in a couple. So if I look individually, it's probably like 5.
So you think that being in couples and relationships helps heal people?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I've seen happen oftentimes is they'll start as a couple, and then they realize, like, it's some things that I may need to work on myself. And then there is where the male will go and get their own.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That just makes me think about, like, when a man finds a wife, he finds favor from the Lord.
And I think
found
a good thing, man.
Look, that good thing helping you heal and all that too. I love that.
Yep.
So here we are saying that marriage is a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Because people think that when they're in, marriage right now, especially our generation, with the dating scenes and feeling like things are toxic and dealing with that, it's just they don't believe in marriage or relationships being beneficial.
Right. And it's crazy. I literally just was talking to my niece about this yesterday, asking her about how she's doing dating. And I said to her, like, you just got to do your part.
Right.
Don't rush it. That stuff will come to you. Marriage is a good thing. It does take work, but you don't want somebody that you got to fix.
Right. Because look, that's a lot.
It's a lot of work.
No, it is a lot. I mean, some people are built for it. My friends and I, we talk about it all the time. Just how, like, some of us got married super young, and then some of us they got married in their 20s in our friends group, and then we'll be married in our 30s, you know? So it's like maybe they needed their spouse earlier versus
possibly.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, girl, I got married at 32, had a baby at 33. Like, life is what it is.
Look, it is what it is.
You could do it either way.
Right, yeah. I love that. So as far as, I want to talk about the elephant in the room.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go ahead and get straight to it. Because we talking about all these extra questions, which is important. But let's talk about how faith and therapy is integrated.
Yes.
I do believe that a lot of, maybe older saints or religious leaders may stray away from therapy as if it takes place from God, because it does not. But
no.
Talk to me about that. How do you integrate your faith with therapy from a believer standpoint, and then from a professional, and then, just give us a little juju about that.
Yeah, right? So, it could be tricky, right? Because like you said, from a professional standpoint, because I don't advertise as a Christian therapist very intentionally, because that will scare certain people away who need me.
Right.
And I think, and it's not even about them not being believers. They'll be like, oh, I don't want a Christian therapist.
Right.
Like, so what I do is I let my clients lead. And I promise you, they will say, like, I'll ask them things like, well, what do you do to, like, when things get hard, how do you kind of deal with that?
Right.
And a lot of times they'll say, oh, well, I'll talk to my pastor, or I'll pray, and I'm like, well, lean into that, like, if that works. So that's kind of how I integrate and let them know that it's okay, because I'm here with you.
Right.
I don't wear the sign and be like, yeah, I'm a believer and you can say what you want to say. But if they ask me, I just give them permission.
Yeah.
And that's all they need.
Yeah. That's just as simple as permission.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's permission to say what it is, or, if it's leaning more into faith, and also flowing into that too as well. And I will say, even though I've had a different therapist, and she's been a blessing as well. She's a believer. And I didn't find it out until a few sessions in.
Like later.
Yeah, later. And I do appreciate, like, I don't know if it's like a non-complete or non-religious clause or something that y'all may have as professionals.
Yeah, we just can't
come out and say.
If you're not saying you're a Christian therapist, you're not supposed to, but people do.
Yeah. But you know what? One thing I did appreciate about therapy was that while being a believer, I realized that I was trying to elevate faith so high to a point that I physically and mentally couldn't attain.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, oh, God can do all things, and He can, and He
Yes.
will. But faith without works is dead.
Yeah. I'm not sitting here. I'm just waiting on him. But what did you do?
But I feel like when you learn and when you're not discipled in a correct way, it puts a lot of believers in a place like, oh, well, just pray about it. Oh, well, God gonna work it out. Oh, you just gotta believe. You just gotta have faith. But practically working that out, you just be a bump on the log.
Literally, I promise you, like, I'm the kind of person I will challenge. I love.
One thing, y'all always got some homework.
We do, and I will ask like certain people, and they'll say things like that, and I'll be like, well, what are you doing? Because like, why am I here?
Right.
And they'll be like, I mean, well, I'm just coming here for help, and but God is, yes, God is all of those things, but why did He make a therapist?
Right.
Because if He's all those things, like, I didn't just make up therapy, somebody else didn't just make up therapy. So we really believe it, and we believe that God made everything. He came up with doctors, lawyers, all of the things. Therapists are included too, and I learned things out of book, but I will tell you, like, you heard what I said in the beginning. I feel like it's a ministry. People who struggle in this field, it's because it doesn't come easy. It's not natural to them. It's very natural to me. So I'm like, this is what I was put on this earth to do. Like, I'm not questioning that. So when people do that, I'm like, okay, so if you're saying God is the end all be all, and we know that is true, and He made everything, why did He make a counselor? Why did He make a therapist? For you just to say, well, I'm good, I'm going to pray and God will do it, but I'm going to come back next week without your homework done.
Right. So how do you challenge a person that may be dealing with that pause, or like, I want to go to therapy, but I don't really know, but I believe in God. Like, how do you typically challenge that? Like, if I were in a session with you and I'm like, I'm believing in God, but I don't really know. Like, how do you typically challenge that as far as like with your clients?
So a lot of education. I think when people like learn and know certain things, they'll open up and the guard kind of comes down. And then I just ask Candace, like, I don't do a lot of bush beating. I don't go around the bush. I'm like, okay, either we doing this or not.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we talk about being a believer. We here for that. And we're going to integrate that if that's what you want to do. But let's do all of the things. Let's not just do half of the things, because you're here using your good insurance and spending your good money, like, or your job if they pay it for it, whatever it is. So let's do the work and let's put the two together and see what happens. And usually that's all it takes.
Yeah.
I don't usually, if I can get the guard down, we can just have a conversation. I've been blessed to have some really good clients.
Really?
That either they want to work or they don't.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like I was saying earlier, I believe with the therapist I had, she was like, Candace, you're not going to be here long. Y'all cut the cord quick.
Yeah.
Because I realized after going to therapy after a while, I was very codependent. And I could do a lot of things by myself. But my little only child syndrome was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Can you help me?
Can you please help me? She's like, you don't really need that much assistance.
Right.
You're not going to be here long. And that's very scary as a new client.
That's fair. But I feel like we know when you come in and we know who's ready and who's not. And there's no need to string you along. Like I was saying earlier, like I was like, I have those clients and I'm like, okay, well, if you feel like you got to come back in here, 6 weeks.
Yeah. Don't take long.
And if you can make 6 weeks, you really don't
So
need
is 6 weeks like a time, like all y'all have for like a certain problem? Or is it like?
So my formula is usually, we do a 30-day check-in.
Okay.
Then we do a 90-day check-in if we get there.
Okay.
Which we usually do. And at that point, we are preparing for like what's next. Have we met goals? Where are we at with those goals? If you 50%, okay, we do another 3 months. Because usually in the first 90 days, we kind of know how long.
Know what's going on.
Yeah.
So the 90-day rule works in therapy too. Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And interestingly enough, when you work like in an agency, that's kind of what we do. 30, 90, 90.
Really? So you mean to tell me that we truly can get over things quicker. Like it really don't take as long as we assume that it's going to take.
No. No. Now, this is what often happens though. You get through the one thing, right? And we at like this 90-day mark and you making these strides. Sometimes other things come up.
Which it always does.
Yes. And then now you have to add that on to that, which could, which you hear people saying, I've been in therapy for 3 years. Well, it's because probably it took you a while to open up. Then after that, there might have been a lot of trauma. And if you have to go back to childhood, oh yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Because look, I had to go back to childhood, but my therapist still was like, look, you don't need long.
Yeah.
Because it ain't, not that it ain't that serious, but it's just like, your mindset is just completely different.
Yeah,
than
you
when
wasn't
were
probably like holding on and letting
Yeah.
that sit you down. Yeah.
Right.
Some
Yeah.
people revert back and then it's hard because it's like, you know what? These behaviors you're exhibiting as an adult, that's your 8-year-old self.
Yeah.
And we got to figure out how to make the 8-year-old sit down because you're 45.
So wait, so help me, right? Look at it be a therapy session. Help somebody that's watching if they have triggers like that. How do they maintain being in a healing version of themselves? I mean, of course, we have resources like books or self-help.
Right.
Of course, continually coming to see y'all.
Yes.
But say we ain't got the money, time, or schedule, or a book available, and I don't want to read. How can we manage that trigger, that may come up that takes us back to this childlike state?
Go to YouTube. That's one thing we can
Go
do.
to YouTube, period.
And I'm being serious, I'm being funny, but I'm just being serious. Like you really could look up, if you don't have resources like a book, most of us always have our phones.
Yes, that's true.
And maybe a little Google search. The Mayo Clinic is usually pretty spot on. Mentalhealth.gov.
Okay.
So there's some websites and things that you could go to.
Right.
NAMI, and they have, and that's the National Alliance of Mental Health. I think it's Institute or something like that. But they have local chapters, and they even have support groups. So, if you can't afford to go to your therapist, you can find a local support group, maybe at a church, maybe at NAMI.
Yeah.
Google.
I didn't even know all of those resources were available. I mean, because I am definitely a person like, I'm going to try to figure it out before I call somebody.
You call somebody.
So, but not everybody is like that. So so say those resources one more time so that they could
Hear it good?
Yes, please say it one more time.
So the big one, NAMI, and there is a Charleston chapter. They have support groups. They have resources. Sometimes they have therapists like on site.
And how do you spell NAMI?
NAMI.
Oh.
Yep.
NAMI. Okay.
NAMI.
NAMI.
NAMI. You can Google search and just see the Mayo Clinic, and they are usually health related, but mental health is health.
Right.
So
mental health is health.
That's under there. And sometimes you could just find good videos of therapists talking on YouTube. I don't know about TikTok and Instagram. You got to be real careful about that. But if you find somebody who has good credentials, then they could be giving tips, tricks on things that you can do. Or if you've already been in therapy, where's your notebook where you took the notes?
Yeah.
Think about what would my therapist say right now?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can remember those things and maybe just the little things. And if you got a therapist who is willing to answer a question via email, just ask a question.
Yeah, just ask a question. Is that
Ask
easy?
a question.
Yeah.
The worst thing we can say is no.
Right, that's true.
Or not answer.
Or not answer, because I be calling and texting.
Yes.
And look, where you at? Because you didn't answer the phone in a little while.
There's a reason why we give you information. Look over your intake paperwork, because usually in that paperwork, we tell you, like, reach out here. You can email me at this email. I check it in these hours.
Right.
Here's my work cell phone or the emergency line. Yeah.
So, as a professional, are you healed to heal, or like what does that look like on your side?
Constantly healing.
Constantly healing. Okay, because healing is ongoing.
Yes, it
Okay.
doesn't stop. You may pause every now and again,
Right.
but constantly healing, because I have my own life and my own stuff, and I can't take that into my sessions. That's not fair.
Because I feel like what I'm carrying is deep, and I just threw up on you like a bib. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My feelings, but it's just like I began praying for my therapist too, because I'm just like, how does she manage?
Thank you. We love it.
Yeah. How do you manage that? Because it's so, I can't listen to, and that's why God gave y'all a certain gift and grace for it. Because I don't think I could be able to handle that every day.
People say it all the time, but you know, I believe that healers need their own, like a therapist needs a therapist too. We are not above that.
Good.
Because how, I get it right, how can you heal people when you got stuff that you holding on to? What happens if you're triggered?
Yeah. Because that's a real thing. Because you be triggered, you want to slap people.
All kinds of things.
Yeah, you got to calm down. Like,
because you're still human.
Look.
So yeah, no, I think the healing is ongoing, and like you said, you know, you have to go into the things that work for you. So whether it's prayer and meditation, and just, you know, something that I feel like I'm really good at, and I had to learn how to do this when COVID happened because I started working from home.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so I have an office at home, but my office is my craft room, like a multi-purpose room. So I had to be really intentional about, this is the space that you work in. If you're going to come in here and do crafts, you do it over here.
Right.
Don't go sit in that desk. Because if once you sit there, you become a therapist again.
Yeah, yeah.
So really kind of leaving it there. And at the end of the day, now I shut the door. Because I'm like, leave all that energy in there. And then I be, you know, we got the prayer oil. I'm from the country, so we be saving stuff. Like, it's all kind of stuff.
Okay, okay. So as far as like, you know, when you're tapping into your relationship with the Lord and, you know, being a LPC, has there been a time where the Lord has like corrected you that you were like overusing the gift and not using like your faith? In a sense?
I haven't experienced
Haven't
that
experienced
yet.
it? Okay. I don't know, because I always think about like, you know how, you know, when you're flowing in the spirit and you're, you know, you're listening to what the Lord is saying, and the Lord may tell you to say a certain thing, but then you accidentally not, either you don't say it or like you went too far,
else.
you know, and like he had to correct, like that was not something that you should have said, you know. Have you ever experienced anything like that? Okay. Okay.
I try to listen. I'm a little scary.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of y'all have the same vibe though. Like I feel like when I meet therapists, y'all all really soft and it's like a cuddly type of feel. And it makes you just want to like
a hug.
Yeah, that's all y'all feel like that. I don't know what it is. I don't care what y'all look like. I wouldn't say I have not met a male therapist though. I can't really speak for the male therapist, but most of the women I mean, it's like all of y'all got the same.
That's probably true. Like I'm going through my Rolodex in my head. Like, do we all kind of have the same? Yeah.
Y'all do. Y'all do. I mean, it helps us a lot. I appreciate it because when we get in that room and sitting down, it's like, girl, I don't know you. You want me to tell you my business? Like, child. But then also you paying for it, so you won't waste no money either.
You got to choose.
Yeah, you got to choose. You got to choose. So as far as like with your role, is there anything that you would like to, let's talk about some of the things that you would like for people to like know about therapy? Or like, is there pros or is there cons or like, you know, dispelling disbeliefs and things like that? Like,
yes. Like the biggest thing, what you just said, like I think so many people come in going, I don't want to tell you all my business. I don't know nobody that pay people to hear their business. Like that don't even make sense to me. But it's like, it's not that, because first of all, we can't say nothing else.
right.
Like once you leave it there, it's there.
Right.
So it's all confidential. So really realizing like this is a safe space, like it's supposed to be. And if it does not feel safe, then maybe we need to try a new therapist. So remember that it's a safe space, and you're not telling your business, you're telling your story.
Yeah.
So that you can be in this journey of healing.
I like that story.
It's your story. It's not your business. Even though we could
kind of say the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's your story.
Yeah, it is your story. That is, I mean, because honestly, when some people are asking you to talk about it, you feel more comfortable versus like, oh, tell me what's going on in your life. It's like, why are you minding my business? You know what I mean?
Because that's for sure, if you say it like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like just tell me your story. And people are more than likely that it comes easy then. My story, oh, okay.
Okay.
And you can start from there. So that's a big thing. I think that people need to understand that therapy could be for anybody, and it doesn't have to be when something bad is happening.
Right.
It could be for maintenance. I've been finding here lately that I get people coming in and they're like, I just want to see if we're a good fit and establish something in case I need you.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So like on retainer? And they're like, yeah. And then, you know, we can talk about some things, and sometimes things do come up.
Right.
Like whether it's like how to deal with stress, because most of us do have a level of stress.
Yeah. And
then it's like, oh, okay. And then they'll say, okay, well, you know, I I'll call you in. I don't want to set something up now, but I'll call you in a few minutes.
Right.
And usually they call me in a few
Call.
minutes.
Look at there. Look at there.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, a lot of my episodes have been about, one, pushing through dark places. A lot of people have experienced a lot of grief and loss. And so is that something that you specialize in, or have you dealt with a lot of people that dealt with grief?
Oh, yeah, lots of grief.
Okay.
I think it's one of the common ones. A quick funny, when I was working in the schools, there was a counselor who told me, I don't do grief, so you need to deal with this.
Oh.
And I was like, girl, we went to the same grad school. How you mean you don't do grief? Like, if you're a counselor, you kind of do grief.
Oh, my gosh. Why? Is it like they're just not like...
I think it was just too close, and I think she may have had some things going on, and she just was not ready. But versus saying to me, like, I can't, not right now, she was like, I don't do grief, so you need to deal with this. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it came with the territory.
So what form of like therapy have you seen like is either one that seems to be a little bit more easier? And I know everybody's story is different, so not necessarily ease. And then which one seems to be more tight or like?
So I will say my trauma clients are probably, if it's a hard, they're, at the top. But I love them. So
tell me about that. What do you mean?
Because I like going backwards and doing like inner child work and really again, making the 8-year-old sit down. Like I get great joy in telling the 8-year-old, go sit down somewhere because we got life to do.
Right.
Your little self cannot handle these grown up issues.
Right.
So sit down over there and we got this.
Yes.
So my trauma clients, and I talk to my clients like that too. So
we need it. We need it. Yes.
So my trauma clients, I feel like because they get stuck. That's
Right.
why they get stuck. And, sometimes, I haven't had to do this yet, but sometimes, with trauma clients, you need to refer out because they may need something a little more intensive. And there are some things out there. I'm just not trained in them because I like my style. I am not a kind of therapist that is like, okay, session 1, we going to do this. Session 2, we going to do this. Nope, I'm going to meet you right where you at.
That's good.
Because I need to give you what you need, not
Right.
what I think you need.
Right, yeah.
And some of those therapies are very regimented, and they are really good, like the trauma-focused ones. But I have found, like, for Black and brown people, they're not always the best. There's one now where there's, like, it's called EMDR, and it's
I've heard about it.
Yep,
I was gonna ask you about that.
eye movement desensitization. I can't say that word, but that word. Reprocessing. And what it does is it uses eye movements and like tapping, like rhythmic tapping, and it makes your brain like reprogram and not get stuck. So when you're having this memory of trauma, you go into like the eye movements and the tapping, and you're more focused on that versus the feeling that would have happened or that trigger that would have happened with the trauma. So that's like overview of how it works. It's pretty detailed.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I've seen some people post about it, and they're like, if you want to go deeper, like this is a different type of therapy.
and yeah, if you want to go deep, that's the one.
I'm okay. I feel like,
And like you said, some people really just don't need it.
yeah, I don't think I need to go that deep.
Yeah.
Because I think wounds at some point, it has a sensitivity point.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I'm okay with the scab that's on it, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with it.
And they'll heal up okay.
Yeah, I don't got time to go back to the root of that sensitivity. I
Yeah.
just don't want to do it.
Yeah, some people it's just not for them. I have one client now where she did that and she was like, it was too much.
That
So
sounds like a
she
lot.
she was referred to me, and we've been doing pretty good.
That's
Yeah.
good. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, what would you tell somebody that has been hesitant about starting, and beginning the journey of therapy? Like, what?
Yeah.
How would you encourage somebody off that hill?
You can interview. You can pick who you want. It can be a perfect fit for you if that's a thing. It doesn't have to be taboo. It just can be what you need it to be.
When did therapy become taboo? I'm so
Girl, a long time ago.
all I remember is growing up. I just like, where did that, do you know the root of where that came from?
Well, if we really want to get into it, I feel like it became taboo because it was things that rich white people did.
Oh.
And if we look like on TV, that's kind of what you saw, I think, maybe. But that's not true.
No, It's not.
So not
I've
true.
been several times to therapy.
It's not true. Like, if you have insurance, therapy is probably covered.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. Even Medicaid
Covers therapy?
fully.
Okay, so let's get straight into it. What
Yes.
resources do we have that's available for us to apply or start therapy?
Okay, so the internet is our friend.
Yeah.
If you are looking for some really good like websites, there's Psychology Today. That's like one of the most popular ones. If you want to start, not only can you find therapists, but they have like articles that will say like if you want to start therapy, like read this article and these are questions that you can ask and this is what you could be looking for. So it kind of maps you out there. I am on Therapy for Black Girls. It's one of my favorite ones. There is Therapy for Black Men as well.
Oh, there is a Therapy for Black Men. Y'all hear that?
Website directories, and all of these directories not only have counselors, but resources.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so most of the directory websites also have resources. So make sure you look at the top, you know, the bar, and get that. Other things is you could just call and ask.
Right.
I am here for answering questions. Like, or shoot an email. Like, I saw your name, I Google searched you, and I was looking to start therapy. Can you tell me a little more?
Yeah. Yeah. That's simple. Because that's exactly, I had a traumatic experience that happened to me, and I was dealing with a lot of like mental deep thoughts. This is at a time I was struggling with suicide, very heavy.
Okay.
And a lot of depression. And my friends was like, I think you need to go to therapy. And I'm like, girl, I'm not going to no therapy, girl. Like, I'm fine. Clearly.
I don't need that.
Yeah.
But you're not okay.
Clearly. I am beyond fine. I am a wreck. Okay. And life is at the end of it all. And when I tell you that was one of the best decisions I've made.
Yeah.
Because the beautiful thing about therapy is I feel like it kind of gives you the keys to your life in a practical way.
Yeah.
Because having a relationship with God sometimes seems, for some people, unattainable.
Yeah, you can't reach or touch
right.
it.
Yeah, it's not physical. You don't hear about it. I mean, not hear about it, but you don't physically see him. So being able to, one, blend faith and then also practical ways of how to do this in real life.
Yeah.
That was the best thing that I could have done. I think honestly, therapy saved me, like, besides Jesus. But literally talking
Combination of the two.
Yes. Literally helped save me and help me realize that I can do things, very hard things. I say it a lot. I can do hard things. I can do difficult things.
I say that all the time.
And I like that childhood part of me feels like, you know, when I was younger, I don't know why, like being by myself, being the only child felt like punishment at sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, why don't I have siblings and what this and that? And now as an adult, the Lord actually reassures me individually that I can do a lot of stuff by myself.
By yourself.
And that's just,
You don't need nobody else.
yeah, I love that. Now I do want to be married, have a husband, and have children
It's
now.
coming.
But look, you know, I just believe that the beauty that God gives us, not only in saving us spiritually, but then also helping us physically and mentally, is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it.
I know.
That's good.
I know. I want to like pry your brain open with so many more things. And I know we are just so limited on time. We may have to do a part 2 or something. You come back.
Just let me know.
Yeah. But is there anything just about therapy that you want the audience just to know, or that you want to share, or you just feel like you may have not touched on?
Let's normalize it.
Normalize it?
That's it. That's what I want everybody to know.
Yeah.
I want the community to know it. I want everybody. Let's just normalize it. It's trending because I think it's becoming cool because everybody's doing it.
Right.
But let's normalize it. Let's make it just like physical health.
Right. Yeah. Because it's a mandatory.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a part of the maintenance, the stretching.
All of that.
I just had to get an adjustment on my neck, and they're telling me I need massages and all this and chiropractor work. And therapy is also a part of that.
It is. It's just, it's more holistic. So it's not, like you said, like chiropractic, we all kind of fall under that. But again, if you got insurance, it's probably covered.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's normalize it just like we normalize our physical health.
Right. So besides us, like, you know, what we're doing, you know, what you do in your profession, everything, is there anything that we can do from a, I won't say regular people level, but outside of the profession, that how can we be a support to one another in our community? Because like I said, this podcast has been having a lot of people walk up to me And, I have to use discernment a lot of times to know what to say.
Be careful.
Yeah. And then you don't want to, overshare, et cetera. But how can we be a support to one another if there's somebody that's dealing with trauma or pushing through these emotions?
I think, you can share what you know. But then, again, advocate for them to get to help, especially trauma and, like, grief.
Yeah.
Those are two that are very hard to do by yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
So you wrap the community around you, whether it is people who have been through it or if it is a professional.
Yeah,
So those two, for people who have, like, anxiety, sometimes it's a little easier. But we're talking more deeper issues. No, okay, girl, let me tell you, this is what I know about this, but that's all I can give you.
Right.
If you need a little more, let's look up some numbers. Or here's somebody you can call.
Yeah.
So really just advocate for, like, people getting the help that they need.
Yeah, I love that. Well, besides normalizing it, do you have any future for mental health, like within yourself or your plans for your business and your practice?
I want to sit down one day.
Because you up and running and moving?
Oh, yes, because there's a lot going on. This is year 18 for me.
Wow.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Including the schools.
Look,
it's 18 years in total. So at some point, I got to keep working because I got a 9-year-old. But at some point, I want to sit down and really focus more on, I have started journals and products like affirmation cards and things like that. Definitely speaking. I want to move to that side. I'm also a supervisor for the state.
Oh.
So I supervise pre-licensed people.
Okay.
So that they can get fully licensed. So I would like to focus more on that.
Okay.
For my business and for just the world of counseling. I want it to explode. I want everybody to have access.
Right.
And maybe I won't be able to sit down because they might need me out.
But as you get higher up, you start hiring them.
Right. Some people under me.
So, yeah.
Right. I may be able to, get some people to work for me. But yeah, I really just want the world to have all the access. And if we can heal, this world will be a better place.
What's the scripture? It says, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves.
What?
Repent from their sins.
What is he going to do?
Repent from your sins, turn from your wicked ways.
I will heal the land.
I will heal the land. And it's a lot of things that you have to do. Like that scripture and I'm misquoting it.
It is a list though.
Yeah, it is a list. If my people call by my name, humble themselves, repent, turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and then I will heal their land. Come on. So it's a lot of steps that we got to do. Of course, God being the first thing, but it's like if you are having difficulty in your relationship with Christ, it's like therapy being the second, helping pair the two together and help like win and conquer life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate God putting y'all in place.
And look, and we thank y'all and we thank him for the blessing of just having the ministry because it's not an easy job, but somebody got to do it.
Yeah.
And it's very rewarding to see y'all doing great.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Well, I appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you.
I do have, before I give you a special gift, because I did get you a gift. Do you want to plug just who you are, your website, where can people find you online, if it's Facebook, social media, etc., and how can we apply for your services?
Okay, so Katrina Bell is who I am. On Facebook, it's Life with KB. On Instagram, it is Life with KB as well, but it's spelled, it's L period, I period, F period, E period with KB. On TikTok, I don't do a lot on TikTok, but I'm on there. It's Life with KB, and it's spelled KAYBEE. My website is, what is it? Oh, Lord, I might give y'all the wrong website. www.lifewithkb.net. And that is the easiest way to reach me and find out about my services and even request services.
Good. Well, I love it. Therapists, they be on a time now. You don't use all their time. And so I appreciate you for coming. But I got you something, just a small gift.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
Just to kind of let people know I am relaunching my candle line. I did candles back in 2018. And now that I'm a full-time entrepreneur, the Lord is like, you got to do all the stuff again.
All of
Reintroduce
it.
yourself. So it's just some
Oh,
candles and
Candace.
some goodie wax melts and things like that. And little snacks you can take with you.
Ooh, and I am so going to put this on my warmer tomorrow.
Yes, smell it.
It
It smells good.
so good already. I didn't even open it.
It's called Dwell, and it's very coconutty, bamboo-y scent. It
I
smells
like
really
that.
good. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So stay tuned. I'll be having more about the candles sometime soon. Just look on my website. Could you?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
oh
you.
God, my heart is so full, Candace.
See, look.
It's full.
See,
God.
and this is just a step. I think that people just need to see it because when I say therapy really helped save me, it was like my friend was like, you need to go talk to somebody because we can't keep carrying the weight of that.
Right.
The most beautiful experience I had, and for me to not even be there long, and I got the control of my life back.
Right on back.
And my relationship with God has grown. I
Yep.
was like, why didn't I do this sooner?
Well, you know better, you do better.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for watching. I can't wait to come back to you with another episode. Bye.